Hey everybody, welcome back to Pro MMA Insider Radio. I'm Chris Guns, and in just a second, I'm going to be joined by one of my favorite all-time fighters, New York's Poison Junior Jones, former bantamweight champion. Can't wait to talk to him about his career, some of his many accomplishments, and how he remembers it. So I can't wait. Let's call and get him on the line. Junior Jones, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Yeah, major fan of yours. You did so much in the sport, and I just appreciate you joining me, man.
Yes, thank you.
And so tell me about yourself, Junior. You're from Brooklyn. Were you born there too?
Yes, I was born and raised in Brooklyn. So I grew up my whole life in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of neighborhood? What part of Brooklyn are you from, and what kind of neighborhood was it?
I grew up in Bushwick. It's a very rough neighborhood, Bushwick. It's near Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Mm-hmm. And tell me about the Jones household. What was it like growing up?
My household was I grew up at the time. It was myself and I had two sisters, and I was the youngest one before the addition of my brother, mother, and sister. But growing up in that household was I had a fun household. I had two sisters, my brother and I, and growing up in the household was cool. We played games, we made things up, things like that, and of course I got a little most of the time, but the household was fun growing up.
Yeah, what kind of kid were you? Were you a fun-loving kid?
I was a good kid. I was never really too much into trouble. I was one of the kids who wanted to get to fights in there with everybody, so I was always one of the kids that always wanted to fight people.
Mm-hmm. And who got you into boxing?
I got into boxing because I got myself into boxing. And that's because at the time, my sister Renee, who was 2 years older than I, she used to always beat me up. And I got into boxing to try to defend myself against her.
That's funny. Against your sister.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't beat her, so I got in boxing. And the funny thing was, because the thing was, to explain to everyone, is that I used to beat my Eric up all the time. And Renee used to beat me up for being Eric up, but she did it worse. She used to beat me up, put me on a 5-foot neck with no clothes till mom got home. Or she used to, make me stand on a 5-foot neck with no clothes on, and things like that. So that's how I got in the box and beat Renee up.
That's why you needed to fight. Yeah. That's
yeah,
right.
I had to fight. I got tired of it.
And how old were you when you first walked into a gym?
When I first walked to the gym, I was 10 years old. The first walked to the gym. The crazy thing was I was 10. And I walked into the gym at 10. I sparred at 10. My first fight and everything was at 10. Sparred at 10. Had my first fight and I was 10 and everything.
So you were good right away, I take it.
Funny story was when I first walked into the gym, the trainer of the gym, Ray Gazer, he kicked me out because I came into the gym. I started this big gym bag, and inside the gym bag I had Mike Myson. I'm going to interview. Yeah, and then inside my gym bag I had cookies, cake, and a whole bunch of junk foods. So I was going to just go in the corner, take a little snack, go back and train. And the trainer didn't call me. He said, if you bring this stuff about gym one time, you gotta get out of my gym. So I said, okay, no problem. So then back to train again. The next day I came in, I got caught this outside kick. I said, listen, take your gym. So he said, oh, don't come to my gym no more. Kick me out the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Then they was having time in New York. This is a very big thing. It was called the PBI Championships, where all the New York State PBIs have a tournament. They fight each other. And he figured, all right, he needed the team trophy, so he needed one more guy. And guess what? The one more guy for me.
Mm-hmm.
And mine came out the gym for like maybe a month at a time. So then now he's right around the neighborhood asking about Rocky Jr. They know they 5 and 6 Junior. He said, when you want to win a trophy, I was like, a trophy, yeah. So I went with him for the trophy, and he did one more guy, and he chose me for the team because I won a lawyer for to win the trophy, and I fought, and I knocked this guy out, and from that fight on, I just started boxing.
Yeah, and you trained at the PAL, the PAL, and what was it like in the PAL in Brooklyn back then?
The power book right there, it was rough because it had a lot of older kids there. I was 10, most of the kids like 13, 14, 15. So back then it was rough because the older kids so much bigger than I was.
Mm-hmm. And you won 2 New York Gold Glove championships, the 1988 119-pound novice championship and the 1989 119-pound championship. What was it like winning the Gold Gloves in New York back in those days?
Well, believe it or not, the first year was 1986. I went to the finals the first year, and I lost in the finals for Gabi 4 times in a row. And Irvin Pierre Lewis. Then
what was his name?
Went to the finals, and he beat me. He finally beat me the biggest one with the Golden Gloves. And then the next 2 years, I went to the gloves. Like I said, I won both times. 1904, 1997 in the Golden Gloves. And man, that was special because I heard so many great fighters that was world champions that went to the gloves and been in the Golden Gloves, the biggest tournament there was in boxing at the time. And that was like the greatest something to do with the world title. That was my world title.
Yeah. So you felt you just loved winning that championship, huh? What was it like? The amateur system in New York in those days, it was real deep back then, wasn't it?
Well, I'm assuming it was deep, but also the system was harder than what it is now. So back when I found the system, it was a rough system.
Yeah. And in 1988, you defeated Arnold Miranda, the Cage Recreation, in the finals to win the championship.
Yeah.
Who was some of the opponents that stand out that we would recognize, like some names? What kind of fighter was Arnold Miranda?
Well, Miranda was tough. I fought him in the gloves. It's like I remember watching him fight one time in the gloves. As a matter of fact, he fought in the coordinated semifinals, and I watched the fight in the semifinals. I fought, and I was like, hope this guy don't win. And he stopped the guy, and he won, and we having to fight him. It was nervous because, like I said, I knew this. He was supposed to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And you also fought internationally too. What's some of the places you've been to that you look back and you're happy you got a chance to travel with the team?
Well, international sport, I never lost international. I fought in Finland, I fought Germany, I fought France, I fought Russia, I fought Korea, I fought Norway, I fought Osway. So I fought quite a few countries.
And your total record was 150-9. You don't see that anymore, do you?
No, not really. I think now, believe it or not, I think that's nothing. The guys are having like 300 amateur fights now, so I think 159 is nothing.
No. People are making the Olympic team off 30, 40 wins now.
Yeah,
Big
but I mean,
difference.
these guys got I think 40 wins amateurs now.
Yeah. And in the Olympic box-off, you lost to eventual gold medalist Kennedy McKinney. How did it feel to miss out on the Olympics after the kind of amateur career you had?
Well, so like I said, it didn't bother me that much. Like, so I didn't bother me that much because most of the time when I had the Olympic trials and stuff, I didn't because I wanted to go. I just wanted to go on the trip. Just because they paid us a little bit of money, like $20, $30, $40 a day, and just to go away on a trip. So it's like a lot of times it really didn't bother me too much because I really didn't know significant to what I lost in the truth.
Yeah. Did you know you were going to turn pro right away?
Nah, not really. I turned pro because amateur game, because my last outside the Olympic trials, I I didn't lose no fight, so the day wasn't that much again, so it got a little bit boring because I was walking through everybody, so I wanted to turn pro just to see how I could do it with a grown man, because I was 18, so I wanted to see, can I fight a grown man?
Mm-hmm. And you did. You turned pro. You remember who you fought and where and what the result was? I like to test your memory like that.
Matter of fact, the first time I turned pro, I fought in Atlantic City. I fought, I forgot this kid's name, but I know it was Atlantic City. And I stopped the guy in 2 rounds or 1 round, something like that.
Yeah, you stopped George Young in the first round.
Right, George Young. Yeah, right, it was George Young from Atlantic City.
Mm-hmm.
He was from Khaki. He was Kevin Rooney's fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He was Kevin Rooney's fighter, so I stopped for 1 round.
You got it. And in your third pro fight, you fought John Michael Johnson. He was 7-2 at the time, and after losing to you, he went on to challenge Lalo Ladwaba for his IBF Super Bantamweight title, and he stopped Antonio Diaz and Harold Gray for a title. What was he like back then when you were just in your third fight? And he was like, well, I think 7-2 is it? Yeah, 7-2.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, he gave me 7-1, something like that. I mean, like I said, to me, it was just a point of just fighting guy. But the time being in battle with this, it was not a battle where you couldn't find him a lot. So at the time, I was just happy to get another fight. So I didn't even care about who I fought. I would have been him or anybody else.
Mm-hmm. And you just were that confident in yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Most definitely, because then also I was confident. A lot of people like they're sitting up for Barrett. They was like, "Oh, he's such a big like." I was such a big Barrett, so they would say that Barrett didn't come on my side, so they gave more confidence.
Mm-hmm. And later on, you fought Anthony Barella. First time you went 8 rounds. How'd you feel after that one? Going 8 rounds.
Well, that fight, I remember fighting Barella. That fight I won, but I didn't look too good because like I was more concerned with going the distance than anything else.
Mm-hmm. And that was on the undercard of a whole card. It featured Bernard Hopkins and Al Cole and Ray Mercer fought Burt Cooper on that one, I think. And
yeah, that was on that triple threat undercard.
Yeah. And what was it like back then doing the triple threat? What was that like with the hanging out with the triple threat and being a part of it?
I mean, those guys, the triple threat was up there was Al Cole, Ray Mercer, and Charles Murray, and I was good friends with all of them. So being undercard them is like I felt like I was one of the threats.
Yeah, you were a threat. And did you ever witness the beef that went on between Al Cole and Ray Mercer?
Not at all. Like I said, I was just cool with both of them, so I was out the middle of that. And so everything with me, I was just neutral when it came to that beef.
Nah. A little bit after that one, you had a close one with Juan Carrazzo. You won a majority decision. What kind of fight was Carrazzo that night?
Oh, no, Carrazzo fight out the real cool because he was a guy, this guy was like real slick and Ken was Puerto Rican, that's real slick and Katie, so with him, it was like, when I was more nervous because, like I said, I know he coming and they told me, the guy can fight a little bit and he's kind of slick, so that fight, like I said, it was kind of hard because he was kind of slick.
Yeah, how'd you feel going 10 for the first time when it was over?
I mean, no, going 10 for the first time, like I said, I mean, it was a great feeling to know that I could go the distance, so that's all the thing. Give me confidence that if I can go 10 rounds, I can go the distance.
Yeah, you were stepping it up when you fought former flyweight champion Rolando Bahal. Tell me about that one.
Well, with him, I was kind of nervous because it was like they were telling me at the time the former flyweight champion that he was pretty good, and so with him, I was more nervous because they said he's the former world champion. So fighting him, it was just nervous, but like I said, I just have so much confidence going because of the things that they're plus being undefeated.
Mm-hmm. And then in your 20th pro fight, you fought for your first pro title. You fought Daroy Andujar from the Philippines, good fighter, and it's for the USBA Bantamweight Championship. What do you remember about that night?
Well, with Andujar, I remember fighting him. It was good because he had beat to get that fight. They were trying to build me and a guy named Eddie Cook up at the time. Eddie Cook was a great puncher, and Andujar beat beat Eddie Cook. And when he beat Eddie Cook, it was like a great fight to me because after he beat Eddie Cook was a guy that was coming up. I mean, he was like cream rise to the top, and when I beat Animal, I felt like, wow, I mean, I was really that good.
Mm-hmm. It must have felt great. And how'd you feel after the fight's over and you're in the back dressing room holding your title for the first time? What's that feel like?
No, I felt tremendously good because, like I said, it was like I just know that particular time that fight Animal had to beat Eddie Cook. Eddie Cook was a great puncher, and I beat him. I felt I beat Eddie Cook.
Yep. And you're on your way. You got a belt, and at that time you were drawing all kinds of comparisons, making people remember Tommy Hearns. Like you look like a bantamweight Tommy Hearns, you know. And you're from New York, the media capital, stuff like that. What was it like in your neighborhood, in that little neighborhood?
Because they compare me to Hearns all the time, and to me it was a compliment because I know, like I said, Hearns was like the ultimate in my book. Man, he was like one of the best ever, and to be compared to Tommy Hearns. And that comparative be talked about to be another Hearns. It was like a great feeling. It made me feel like people really thought that I was really that good.
Mm-hmm. And did you feel any pressure at all to try to live up to that?
No, not at all. It was not pressure. Like I said, I might have heard someone to me. My thing was to be considered that good and to be talked about in the same sense with him was like a great. There was no pressure. Just a great feeling. It felt so good.
Yeah. And you fought Eddie Rangel for your first. That was your first fight at the Garden. It was in the small room, but still, it's still the Garden. How do you feel about headlining in the small room at the Garden?
Well, that Eddie Rangel fight, man, like I said, I was the headline at the Garden. The fight in front of all my family, a lot of fans, a lot of friends from the neighborhood, and a lot of fans who watched me go to fight. That day I felt like I was a world champion.
Yeah. How many people showed up to that fight? You remember?
Wow, I had, matter of fact, I sold tickets for the Garden. You sell a certain amount of tickets, you get a percentage of them. I remember selling. Wow, I sold maybe over 100 tickets by myself. So there were so many people there.
Yeah, in those days, that's great for a bantamweight. In those days, bantamweights would hardly be on TV at all. I remember. They'd rather play like.
Exactly, that's what made it so great for you. Like you said, family said times they weren't really talked about too much on TV because it was small. But being that I was a tall bantamweight and I was a puncher, and it got a lot of variety. There was how this comparison to this guy named Jeff Chandler a lot, and I didn't know who Jeff Chandler was, and how they compared me to him. Then I found out who Jeff Chandler was, and that's what made it even more great for me to live up to that.
Yeah, great fighter, Jeff Chandler, one of my favorites. And you fought at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas on November 13th, 1992. For those of you who don't know the date and the card right off, it's burned into my mind. The night that Riddick Bowe fought Evander Holyfield for the first time. You fought Jose Carino on that card. How'd you feel being on a card of that magnitude for the first time? And
well, that was a good fight because they said that there's never been a battle in a heavyweight card in like maybe over 20, 30 years. So for me to be the first time I ever really was undercard to do what I done, I felt like I was like that card meant for me. Like I was made a man. I felt like.
Yeah, what do you remember about that fight? Was it Carino a good fighter?
I mean, no, he was a good fighter, but like I said, I was just so highly confident back then. So at that time, it didn't matter who they put in front. I was so confident back then. I felt that if whoever I hit, and if I catch you clean, that the fight's over. If I hit you and I just hit you, not good, I'm still rock you. So I was so confident.
Yeah. Did you stay and watch the main event? I'm sure you did.
Well, yeah, definitely. I was still high, so I had to still watch the main event. But like I said, I was just on a high at the time.
Oh, yeah. And were you and Riddick cool at the time?
Yeah, we were very cool because we knew each other since amateur days, so we were very cool with each other.
Yeah. Then you fought Juan Pablo Salazar. You fought him at the big room in the Garden. What was that like fighting for the first time? And that was on the undercard of Pernell Whitaker and Buddy McGirt.
Yeah, exactly. Pernell Whitaker and Buddy McGirt. That fight, was exciting because like I said, I was on the undercard of two great fighters like Whitaker and McGirt, so fighting him, like I said, I felt good because that time I was so highly confident, felt that no one could beat me at that time.
Yeah, and you were getting all those big cards, so you were getting all the attention and everything, and you were just ready for anything. That night, you won the WBC Continental America's bantamweight title. How'd that one feel?
I felt like that was like my first recognized linear belt that I won. So to win that belt, man, then to win at the Garden, the undercard felt all my family friends. It was a great feeling.
Mm-hmm. And then you stopped Francisco Alvarez in the 12th round. What was that like, going 12?
Well, that fight, it felt good because, like I said, going 12 rounds, because I was more nervous of going to fight 12 rounds, going the distance than the fight itself. So with that fight, it was just more on mind to just go 12 rounds and finish 12 round bout. That's what I was more nervous in.
Yeah, tough guy though, Francisco Alvarez. I think I remember that. I think, was that televised on Tuesday Night Fights? I think it was, and Ivan Robinson fought on that.
Yeah, the Tuesday Night Fights, exactly.
Yeah, I remember that. What do you think of Ivan Robinson? I remember that.
Oh no, I remember Robinson from amateurs. I knew that he was a tall guy. 135, very slick. So that's what I remember about Ivan. He was a very slick fighter.
Yeah.
Couldn't punch, but slick.
Good guy, Ivan. I like Ivan. One of my personal favorite people to talk to. I don't know about you. Good guy.
I've been friends since amateur days. I've always been very kind, very soft-spoken, and rowdy, just very nice guy, respectful.
Yeah. And then you got your title shot in your very next fight. You fight for the WBA bantamweight title against unbeaten Jorge Julio. What kind of fight was it? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, that fight there. That fight was a fight. It was tough because he had been a great fighter named Eddie Cook at the time. Eddie Cook was a great puncher.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were trying to get me Eddie Cook to fight for a while, but he lost to the guy just fought, and the fight was tough because, like I said, I was more nervous than at the time. He's the first guy to ever knock me down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you went down in the 4th round.
That fight there was great.
And then you had him down in the 11th. You went down in the 4th, and you had him down in the 11th, and you won the bantamweight championship that night. How'd that one feel? You're the champion of the world now?
Because he was down, but he was out by maybe 1 to 1 seconds left because he was down, he was out. So that fight was great. I mean, I had so many people there from Brooklyn, from all neighborhood that came down to see me, and friends that I grew up with came to see me. So that was like the ultimate right there.
Yeah. And your first defense came against Elvis Alvarez. What kind of fighter was Elvis?
Well, Alvarez, he was more of a herky-jerky type of fighter. The guy that bounced around more around. I really couldn't I'm over a clean shot. I couldn't really hit the punch with the hill because he was constantly moving, constantly away from me.
Mm-hmm. And then you defended on another Holyfield card. Didn't go as well as as well as you wanted it to go. Michael Johnson, you fought, and you lose your title and your unbeaten record. What happened that night, Poison?
Well, with that fight was a fight where I was on a little bit of weight problems.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, going through the fight, because what I did was I had to dry out the night before to the point where I dried out for 21 hours, something like that. No eating, no drinking, nothing to make the weight cut. I was having a little weight difficulties. And that fight was more or less where it's drying out, though drying out, on top of it was so hot in the sun that day, so I just got weak at the fight, but the fight went long. As long as the fight went the week I got.
Yeah. And you went down 2 times and stopped in the 11th. How'd you feel losing the title that night?
No, it was a hurt. I was very hurt because, I felt that shit had line and hold it for a long time, and I felt hurt because I was getting talked about so much that the next Jeff Chandler, they were trying to compare me, and trying to make a fight in the Canada time, and when I lost that fight, I blew that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And boxing's a mental game. By the time you fought the next fight, did you feel like you were over it yet? Because you only fought like 6 weeks later in the next fight. Did you feel like you were over it?
Not really, man, because not that I was all about the mental. I was just still trying to, go back and try to make up for the loss and the previous loss I had.
Yeah, in the next fight, you won a unanimous decision against Orlando Fernandez that night, but you actually got stopped in your next fight again by Daryl Pinckney, this time in 3 rounds. And he's a guy with an 18-18 record. Doesn't look good to lose to a guy like that. And how about after that loss? Where were you mentally after that loss? You lose 2 out of 3, and you think it was just all related? You think it was all just related to that first loss?
Well, I think with the Daryl Pinckney, it was a fight where I said, with him, I thought that they shouldn't stop the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, because he gave me a good shot, but I don't think they should stop because I did get up. I was a little wobbly. But when we stopped, then I think with Pickney was more or less where I took the fight more lightly than seriously than what I should have taken it.
Yeah. Did you ever think about retiring at that point, or were you just?
Yeah, definitely. I was doing boxing at that particular time. My confidence was really shot, man. I wasn't doing boxing. I was doing my quitting boxing, and then my wife at the time, she was trying to convince me that it happened, so I didn't want to hear it. So boxing, I was finished with boxing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you took a longer break this time. You came back about 5 or 6 months later, and you took it slow. You fought 5 times in 1995, and at the end of 95, you were training. You were getting ready to fight Armando Navarro at Madison Square Garden, and your trainer, Joey Ferriello, had a stroke, and he passed away like 2 weeks before the fight. Talk about Joey a little bit.
Well, Joey was one of the greatest trainers I've ever had, because Joey was the guy that he wouldn't lie to you. I mean, if you did good, he'd tell you did good. If you didn't do good, he'd tell you. So Joey's the guy where he was very straightforward. He wouldn't lie to you. He'd tell you exactly what he wouldn't sugarcoat nothing. So Joey, I mean, he was a great trainer, but Joe he was the trainer that really helped develop my jab, because everything with him was jabbing. So Joey was the ultimate trainer.
Yeah. So you have to fight with a heavy heart that night, and is that the first fight you linked up with Tommy Brooks? Is that the first fight? Did you go to Tommy Brooks after? Okay. And you being from New York, you got to be familiar with Tommy, right?
I was a little familiar with Tommy. I was a little familiar with Tommy.
Yeah. So what was the fight like itself with Navarro? He was 2-1 only, not a threat.
That fight, like we call, it wasn't like I was nervous. I was just more or less wanted to just get in there and just try to make Joey happy to see me.
And in the next fight, you fight at the small room in the Garden again, but this time you stepped your competition way up, and you're taking on the great Orlando Canizales after he moved up from 118. How ready were you for the big time in boxing again?
I was ready to, even though with Atlanta I was nervous. I couldn't tell you the nervous I was going through, knowing that when I fought him, he had just broke the record for, I think, for the most bantamweight title defenses. So fighting him was confident, but very nervous because of who this guy was and what he's done, and so I hadn't been talking to him for so long, but the fight I was very nervous.
Mm-hmm. And after that, you beat Tommy Parks, and you got yourself a shot to get all the way back. You were fighting the next Chavez, unbeaten babyface assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera. He was 42-0 then. I remember that when you took that fight. I think HBO announced, or I think it was Jim Lampley or Larry Merchant. They said how your manager refused to take a cut of your purse because they thought you might lose, and they wanted you to have it. Was that you, Junior? Or is that my memory?
Yeah, that wasn't true. That was the wrong one. That wasn't true. I don't know where they caught the information from, but my manager, he took the fight because he knew that I could win the fight, and I knew I could win that fight.
Okay. I don't know where they came up with that.
No, like I said, I knew I could beat him.
Yeah. Describe that fight. It's even more impressive after seeing how much better he got after, too. And what do you remember about that first fight with Marco Antonio Barrera?
Well, that fight there, I know. Like I said, going into the fight, I knew I could beat him. The thing was, I knew for a fact that it was going to be 5 rounds or less, but thing was I never stated that publicly because I don't think that this guy's cocky to it on 5 rounds. So, but I called I told my people, I told them I was stopping about 5 rounds. But that fight, I knew that Barrera was telling me for me to gotta come straight forward. He's a good puncher, but coming to me straight punching or head movement, I knew that all I had to do was just catch him, and I knew that I could take him.
Yeah. How'd you feel when you saw him hit the mat and couldn't move? He just was like bolted to the floor.
I'm not great for what I knew for a fact that if he got up, I know I was going to do worse damage. So just sit him down there, and the people had me, I was like, as a matter of fact, it was great because I believe I was an underdog to the point where in Vegas, they took the odds were so big they had to take the odds off the board.
Wow. That's crazy. And what were you thinking when his cornerman ran into the ring? Actually, it went down as a disqualification and not a knockout, which it should have been, but...
Yeah, no, but it should have been. But I knew when his corner into the ring, like I said, I know they was coming to save him. Now I think they did the right thing because I was going to really hurt him.
Yeah. How did that win change your life in the sport?
Well, that changed my life in the sport to the point where now I'm the real recognized figure in boxing. Before I was a name in boxing, people heard me, but it didn't really stick out as much unless you remember a certain fight or seen something. But then it got to the point where I was being talked about as time for pound, and I was in the mix with Roy Joneses and Purnell's HBO. So that's what was a total different change in my life.
Yeah.
Before I became a very big name in boxing.
And how they feel to go from losing 2 out of 3 and losing to a guy like Daryl Pinckney, and here you are all the way back. You come back and you beat Orlando Canizales and now Marco Antonio Barrera. What's that do to you? You feel like you're all the way back?
It was great. I felt something. Like I said, I'm not that big Canizales. I was like, knew that I was one of the lead guys, and I just needed an opportunity to shot at somebody. So that time I knew that I felt like I was one of the best. I should have been in that class. So I think that it was well deserved for me to be in that class.
And you took the rematch, and he changed his tactics a little bit. He tried to move a little bit more, and he did add that pretty good to his game after too. I mean, he really improved his whole game after losing that first fight, but you still got the decision, and it was a closer fight in the second fight. What do you remember about that one? It was somewhat controversial too. What do you remember?
That fight, I remember, I knew I was losing at the first maybe 5 rounds, and I was behind because he started boxing me. I couldn't really adjust because everyone I sparred with, training for that fight, the spar partner I brought in was all guys that was coming straight to me, trying to punch. So when he started to box me, that totally threw me off. And then on top of it, I knew I had like one of the best jabs in boxing. Then to see this guy out jabbing me was like, it was just mind-boggling to try to figure him out.
Yeah. So what Barrera was harder for you to face? So the second one I would.
The second fight. I mean, the first fight, I was very expecting to come out and punch it because he just fought a great fight mechanic. So I knew he was going to come at me punching and come at me without backing out. And I knew that all I had to do was just catch him coming in, and I would be okay because I know I can punch. And then the rematch when he started boxing me, he totally threw me off. I didn't train for a boxer. I had no spar part of that box. Everybody that brought up a spar came straight to me.
Yeah. How surprising was it to see this guy boxing so good after he got so much recognition for being a brawler like Chavez, and now he's kind of like Salvador Sanchez, boxing and punching? Surprising.
Man, I was just trying to say he told them up because I never knew the guy can box. So I thought that his game plan just come straight to you, bang you, just try to bang you out. So to see that he can box, and I was totally puzzled for the first 5 rounds.
Yeah, and in retrospect of what he went on to do after, how do you feel about him as a fighter now when you think about Marco Antonio Barrera?
Well, to me, I think he's a great fighter. I think that he's one of the best fighters ever lived in the division. I think that Barrera is definitely a Hall of Famer by right, and I mean, you can't take that away.
Yeah. Then you would try to avenge your last loss from the amateurs to the man responsible for you missing the Olympics, Kennedy McKinney. What was going through your mind training for Kennedy McKinney?
Oh, that fight was so dumb because with him, I was just so pissed off that fight, and I learned a great lesson, but you can't fight angry. Because I was angry because he was so disrespectful. But the press conference, I was so heated that I went to the fight. And I wasn't even hurt. I was just so tired from punching myself out.
Yeah, it got too personal between you guys, huh? That's what happened.
But I mean, very personal. I just punched myself. That's all.
Yeah. What do you remember about that fight that night, though? Were you how mad were you after losing to that guy again?
Well, I was very angry. Like I said, when I dropped him, I really didn't catch him clean. I thought I caught him. But so when I dropped him, he went to storm after all those punches. Any punch I threw was extremely hard shot. So I truly just totally punched myself. I was dead tired.
Yeah. What would you say if you saw Kennedy today? You have nothing to say to him?
No. If I said they show him much respect, I greet him because it's a fight, nothing personal. He came in before, it was nothing personal. If I won, it had been the same thing. So it's not personal, it's business.
Yeah. Then you fought another up and coming Mexican warrior, Eric Morales. What do you think about when you remember that night?
Well, I fought Rob Morales. That fight was really too much power. That fight was. They had me so on the edge. Some of the told me to drink the water in Mexico. So I was just so thirsty. I couldn't. So then we had to fly water in from the United States. So for the water to get here, I was so dehydrated because they told me don't drink the water. The soil system is dirty. Don't drink the water. So I was just so dehydrated from not drinking the water.
God. And where were you after that loss? Did you think you might retire then?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was definitely my retirement. Definitely. I mean, I just was through.
Yeah. And when you heard that Marco Antonio Barrera was fighting Eric Morales, who'd you think was going to win?
I thought that Barrera won because I fought both. I knew that Barrera was the more solid puncher. His punched them all, but than Morales was.
Yeah. And you returned against Tom Boom Boom Johnson, and that was a good fight. I remember that one. What do you remember about Tom Boom Boom Johnson?
Well, with Boom Boom, the fight where I knew that he was a former IBF champion, 11, 12 defenses. I knew from sparring, we had the same trainer at the time. We sparred a lot, so I knew coming in the fight with Boom, I knew that fight was not going to be easy because he was very experienced and he knew how to blow punches.
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't think he was that much of a threat because he just lost to Nassim Hamed not too long before that. But I think he just had a hard time with southpaws. But if you were not a southpaw, I think he'll give you hell. You know, Tom Johnson.
I believe so.
Yeah. Then you fought in England. You fought Richard Evat. And what do you think about England? How did they treat you there?
He was treated me good, but with Richard Evat, he was a guy I know nothing to zero about. So with him, it was one that I just wanted to find not knowing nothing about this guy. So he surprised me.
Mm-hmm. And how did the people of England treat you? Did they?
The people they treated me open arms. They was very good to me. A lot of fans out there just trying to make me a Hamed. So the England people were very nice to me.
Yeah, they're real knowledgeable, and they treat American boxers real good when they go there. A lot of American boxers actually like going there and prefer being there because they're treated more respectfully and people know them better, I guess. But that was the undercard of Nassim Hamed fighting Paul Ingle, and Tommy Hearns beat Nate Miller on that night too. What do you remember? What do you say to Tommy Hearns when you guys are fighting on the same card together?
I'm not so good to fight. I mean, Hearns is the legend of boxing, so the fight on the card with him was it's a breathtaking feeling to the point where I tried my best to feel good.
Yeah, it was like father and son there that night.
Exactly, so good.
And then you decision former champion Tracy Harris Patterson by majority decision. That was a close fight, huh?
But Tracy fight was really close. So he's a guy where he's very strong. I remember Tracy had tremendous power. The thing was he was trying to bait me in.
remember Tracy Patterson for his 2 fights with Gotti. He lost his title to Arturo Gotti. Fought two really good fights, though. Strong guy, good guy.
Yeah, very strong.
Son of Floyd Patterson, adopted son. So I guess Floyd taught him that left hook pretty good.
Yeah, great lesson.
Yeah. And then you got a shot at the IBF featherweight title, held by Paul Engel. You fought at the Garden on the big Lennox Lewis, Michael Grant undercard. Gotti fought that night. Vladimir Klitschko fought that night. What was that night like fighting Paul Engel at the Garden? It was a good fight.
And that fight was good because at the Garden, hometown crowd fighting for another world title. So that fight was, I mean, it was a good. That fight was a great feeling.
That was a good fight. I remember that fight clearly. It was a great fight. And there was a There was a time before that fight started, though, that he threatened to pull out of the fight. He didn't like that the weigh-in was the same day as the fight. Did that mess you up at all?
Nah, I didn't care. That's it at all.
Yeah, okay. And you took a year off after that fight. Did you think that you would come back to fighting again?
Nah, not at all.
Yeah, but you did come back. And came back. And did you ever feel the same? Did your body feel the same when you were training?
No, I mean, at the time I came back, I really didn't want to fight. I just came back because I was bored, nothing to do, and at the time I was going through my divorce, so I came back just to have something to do, keep my mind off of things.
Yeah, divorce is rough, man. I went through it, and it's really hard to do anything when you're going through that kind of stuff, and you can't really focus on it.
Well, I realized I just came back just to have something to do, keep my mind occupied, but I didn't care about fighting.
Yeah, you won 3 fights and you dropped a decision to Ivan Alvarez, and that was it. That was December 6, 2002. Did you know you knew that you weren't coming back after that, right?
Yeah, I knew it because I already know I was coming back because my mom was on boxing and boxing was out of my system.
Yeah, you had a great career. Do you have anything you wish that you did that you didn't do? Any regrets, I guess?
No, believe it or not, even lose the fights I've lost, I really can't complain or say I should have did certain things different. My thing was always fought my heart every fight. I fought my heart every fight. I tried to win. Even if I was hit with a shot, I was hurt. I'm still trying to fight. I'm trying to. So I think everything I've done, I'm satisfied with it. Cause I just gave it my heart.
Yeah, you did. And I remember you and Kevin Kelly almost fought. Are you glad now, in retrospect, that fight never came off? I remember you guys wanted
more money. Yeah, I'm glad
money.
because we were such great friends. And, even though I don't think I'd have won the friendship, but I mean, that's probably I really want to fight Kevin.
Yeah, and you're still in the gym now. I hear you're at the Judah Brothers boxing gym a lot. What's that gym like?
I'm training fighters right now.
What do you think of that gym? You loving it?
It's a great gym. It's a homie gym, but it's not like, it's just a homie sort of gym. So, I mean, I do like the gym a lot. I'm having a good time training there.
Yeah, and that's what you're focusing on now, training and passing your knowledge on?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to focus on right now, just train other guys, give them experience that I had.
And what are you most proud about when you look back at your career?
I'm just proud that I went there and I gave people what they wanted to see. I'm proud that I was able to fight, and to fight a fight that people enjoyed.
Yep, you did that all the time. And who gave you the best advice, Junior? And what was it? Whether it's life or boxing, who gave you the best advice?
I think it's my mother. She always, one time she told me that you gotta know when to say when. It doesn't take, she said it's not bad to be at the time you want to fight them all. You gotta know when to say when. Your life is more important than anything else in boxing.
And we're coming up to the 10-year anniversary that you out of the game. How important is it to you to be recognized by Ed Brophy in the Hall of Fame one day?
It's a great feeling to be recognized by Ed Brophy Hall of Fame because that's something, constant boxing that's to be considered, to be taught to that breadth of it. It's like a tremendous feeling to be considered among the greatest.
Yeah, don't you think you deserve to be enshrined, Junior? You got it.
I think I've done enough to hopefully something be done to my heart. I think that gave the crowd the one. I never bored nobody, and I always put my heart out.
And how do you feel in retrospect about helping bring little guys to the forefront of the sport with the help of Michael Carbajal and Chiquita Gonzalez, Nassim Hamed, Kevin Kelly, Johnny Tapia, Barrera Morales, Wayne McCullough? How's it feel to be one of those guys that are responsible for?
I felt good because, like I said, with the time, as you know, when I was fighting those little guys didn't get attention they get now, so they're really responsible for being one of the little guys to bring the little guys to the forefront of boxing. And it's a great feeling to know that I'm responsible for being part of that.
Yeah, I think you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame for what you did, and it's overdue, actually, champ. I mean, you're a credit to the sport, and thanks for all you did, Poison Junior Jones. Thank you, man. Appreciate talking to you. And that was Poison Junior Jones, ladies and gentlemen. One of my all-time favorite fighters, and if you know your boxing, he'll be one of yours too. I want to thank Junior for giving some time to us and letting me ask him questions and making my dream come true. Thank you, Junior. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And follow me, Chris Guns, on Twitter at Chris2Guns. Thank you.